Look, this is what we're talking about. Joyo's biggest weakness and biggest strength as a player is his... Je m'appelle Gregan, un RLCS Analyst. Let's do KC Moist then. Let's get into it. Okay, so in the full open, we've already analysed the final. Hopefully that'll be going out on YouTube before this, if this is going out at all. I think it will be. We've got Oxygen winning it all out against KCorp in the final. But of course, KCorp had to win their semi-final to get there against Moist. Big rivalry here. KCorp, the org which Vatira ex-Moist left to go join, and then Moist replaced them with Astral, who used to be on KCorp. So if we look at the rosters real quick, Moist, Joyo, Rise, now Astral, KCorp, Vatira, Itachi and Exotic. This is going to be interesting to watch because we haven't analysed any Moist yet, so I want to see how they're playing. But Astral is a very offensive mechanical player, probably one of the most mechanical players out there, where Vatira was a very defensive player and counter-attack focused in a lot of his mechanical plays. So we'll see how the team has newly formed around this composition. And on the KCorp side, 3 new players who've not played together before. We'll see how they play as a team, as a unit. But it looked pretty solid going into the final. And they dominated the semi-final 4-1, which you can see down here. Semi-final here. Exotic had a very good series. So we'll have a look at some of the stats and see what's going on. So if you see here, Exotic having a great series, 416 points, lots of goals. That was the big thing. Exotic was just scoring a lot. Assists 0.8, goals 1.4, massive goal participation. And Itachi was a big disruptor, you know, getting involved and taking the play off of Moist. Vatira, you know, filling in the gaps and adding a lot of value with his own mechanics. But you'll see here the shot difference. 11 shots from KCorp, 5 shots per game from Moist. So it's just so much more offensive pressure from KCorp. When we saw KCorp in the final against Oxygen, it looked to be a very offensive match. Both teams prioritizing offense over defense. And it did mean the games are quite high scoring with KCorp right now. But that's honestly a better style than a lot of the EU scene right now. I think a lot of the EU scene lacks the offensive ability. It's easier to create a structure than it is to have the mechanical ability to score goals. So if we look at the boost per minute, very low average boost for Astral, Rise, Itachi. Itachi makes sense because I feel like he's the one who's willing to stay in the play on low boost for the sake of the team. But Astral, I think, is going to be boost starving himself by the looks of things. I reckon very reliant on 100 boosts because you can see a lot of time at 0 boost here. Vatira, as is the case for a lot of these top players, pretty high average amount, very good at conserving boost and saving the boost. And with the fast rotation speed, was probably winning out a lot of those 100 boost battles against the likes of Astral, it seems. It's hard to say, though, from the stats here. Overall, the stats aren't too significant, but a lot of low average amounts here across the board. So I should imagine goals are being scored and goals being conceded based off of boost amounts. I mean, the same players that we just looked at for low boost amounts have all got big proximity to the ball, you know, very close to the ball. So they're probably finding themselves in no man's land a little bit, close to the ball, challenging a lot. Where you can see Vatira off the ball, Joyo off the ball. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Joyo spending a lot of time in front of the ball. That comes from his pre-jumping nature. Rise spending a lot of time in front of the ball. So yeah, this is not a good sign. Rise and Joyo in front of the ball a lot. It's forcing Astral to be more defensive, which I don't think is a good thing. Where Vatira before was good at doing that, I don't know if Astral's the person you want in defense. Yeah, we said about Vatira having a fast rotation speed. That makes sense with his high average speed. Rise, very grounded, typical Rise. Nothing too crazy other than that. Like, everyone's moving at normal speeds. Vatira just a little bit on the faster side, but it kind of all builds up a picture of him recovering quickly, is what I would say. As you can see, the score lines here, the only game lost was this 2-0 game from Moist, which I believe came after their timeout. No, it didn't even come out after their timeout. They didn't get a timeout buff. They just got a win. But let's have a look at the games. You got to remember as well, these teams don't know how each other plays yet. They're all learning what the composition of the teams turns into, how they all play around each other, what the different players' strengths and weaknesses are. And so it's really hard right now for these players to read each other. And so we're seeing a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of low execution at times because no one's fully confident in their structure. Oxygen were the ones who looked the most confident, and even then, like, they know there's a lot to improve on. Solid start here from Astral. They know there's a lot to improve on. But they do just need to just spend some time refining a few bits of their game. Oh, this is I'm not a big fan of what I'm seeing here. You see how they're relying so much on mechanics to recover poor situations, right? Like this right here is Exotic tipping the ball up, Itachi sending it forward, right? This is very simple Rocket League, and it's breaking down Moist right now because they're having to make some really dodgy touches to recover the situation. Joyo's biggest weakness and biggest strength as a player is his pre-jumping. And so you'll see him throw himself around a lot, and that can often come out when he's having a bad day. It can come out as a downside to the game. When he's having a good day though, it's amazing, right? Because he pre-jumps and reads everything. But we are just in the first game here, so we'll see our team settle in. I normally let a few decisions, a few missed touches, a few stuff like that go off in the first game because you know you're setting yourself in. But you often get to see people's bad habits when they're in their most nervous state, when they're not feeling so good, right? You're only as good as your worst performance is. And so sometimes those bad habits shine through when you're having a nervous start, right? Because, like, for example, right now, Joyo is first game jitters, potentially, with some of these decisions. But one thing you can see that's clear with Joyo is he has good boost management, right? And so some players, when they get nervous, their boost is the thing that starts to be a problem. When other players get nervous, it's their touches. For Joyo, I'd say it's his decision-making and positioning that can often be affected when he's not feeling so good. Right, like you can see right here, mechanics have been pretty clean, but it's putting himself in those favourable positions. But this is really nice here from Astral. Astral down the side, breaks down the team. Vatira forces, gets the bump, opens up the opportunity for Joyo. This is just prime first player Rocket League right here. Possession, takes out one, forces another, bumps the last. I know the bump doesn't necessarily come off there, but it's the equivalent of that. Yeah, Joyo is missing a lot. This is what I said about Joyo. Like, he tries to hard read things, and if you're against a team that's playing well and you're not reading these things, it takes him out of the play for nothing. But it does make the opponents panic a bit more, right? Like, they're concerned Joyo can go at any moment. But moments like this, like, I have no doubt that the goal that's about to happen starts from... okay, they got possession here. Okay, so what's happened here? What have we got going on here? Itachi just 50s Astral, is that all it took? Okay. So right here, Joyo taking himself out of the game, Rise has taken long recovery, so Astral going for that as the last is pretty risky, right? He probably thought he was going to beat Itachi to it, but that's really good from Itachi, to be fair. That's high-class facilitation from Itachi. I wouldn't say it's a little lucky, right? Like, in this situation, Itachi is in control of this 50-50 more than Astral because he's got his dodge. Joyo's out the play, and then you've got Exotic and Vatira both trying to read it, right? So there's two players with 100 boost sitting in the middle ready to read this ball out of the 50-50, and one player who's just got back, right? And this one player who's just got back is going to have... He's not... Look at the timing for Rise, right? So if you look at the timing, Rise is not fully back and has turning to go for this. So he's not in as strong a position to go for this 50-50. So, like, in terms of the area covered on the pitch, KC right now have the advantage because they're waiting, watching, and ready to read this 50, where Rise is still technically in his recovery to get back behind this ball. So that 50-50 from Astro and Itachi is always going to go in favour of KC because it's a 2v1 and the one on Moist who's trying to read it is not in as strong a position. So that's why Rise has to wait, because Exotic's just always going to beat him to that ball. Right? So this is where the structure for Moist gets broken down, right? Joyo here has Rise in front of him to the right, tries to flick it to him, and that missed flick, you can see just that missed flick alone. He's trying to flick it to Rise. That missed flick alone leads to the counter-attack. And it's literally just Itachi, right? Itachi has created this. Patient Itachi reads that play, saves some boost, goes at the wall, even saves some boost here. So this is the value that Itachi offers that people don't necessarily see. Especially when they're seeing Exotic bang in goal after goal. Look here, look. Look at this situation here as this ball pops up. What do you notice about the structure of Moist? This area here, and obviously up towards the ceiling, is all covered by all three of them. So when you're playing Rocket League, you want to be all structured around each other in a way that it's very obvious who needs to go. And right now, Astral is still getting used to the idea of not being the guy who goes for everything. Rise is, I don't know, not feeling confident, so feels like he has to go. Joyo loves pre-jumping things, so still puts himself in a position to go, right? And if we look at this, you can see it so clearly in the overhead, right? Look at all the players and where they're positioned, right? This sort of like hot spot here, they're all covering the same area. So right here, we need the one to be going back here, so it's really clear for Rise. And even then, you know, Joyo is in a fine spot to be able to react off it. I think Joyo very clearly knows he's not going, but you still get the gist of it, right? So this is why double commits are going to happen. And like, I think Rise does the right thing here, right? Like, Astral's technically recovering there. And that's a free ball for Astral on the backboard if he wants to go. But then Joyo feels like he has to panic, recover the situation. Exactly, it's not only double commits, it's when people don't go that's the problem, right? Because you think your teammate's going to go. So I'd be interested to see that crossing over of area coverage. That's going to be interesting to see. See it, like, just see this low confidence. Like Astral's touch here. I think he has to go up, to be fair. Gets it off of Vatira, but then you can just see the low confidence from Rise and the poor read from Rise. So yeah, it's almost, it's like the chaos. They can't deal with the chaos that they're creating. But to a certain extent, I don't blame Astral, because right, Astral needs to have Joyo and Rise create what Itachi was creating for them in the past, right? We saw on that goal earlier what Itachi does in terms of 50-50s and breaking down opposition. And we now need to see that out of Rise and Joyo, where historically they were a team focused around aggression and hard reading of opponents to break them down. Nice shot. See, this is classic. This is classic Moist, right? Pure aggression. I know it's quite late in this game here. It's just pure aggression and force the team to feel uncomfortable and then come in and score no matter what. I've always been a big believer that Astral, in space with 100 boost, is one of the most deadly players in Rocket League. Now, the way he played on KC before, he would find himself in good positions with boost off the ball, and his teammates would set him up for it, right? Whereas now, because they're playing faster and more aggressively on the ball as a team, he needs to be able to manage his boost better to be able to keep up with the Moist guys going. Vatira, we saw Vatira's stats, right? Like, if we go back and we look at the Vatira stats, like, it's like a whole different player, right? So the biggest, people say about, oh, you know, Vatira's a defensive player, Astral's an aggressive player. I don't really think that's the biggest difference. Like, they've literally got over 10 boost average amount difference, which is going to make it so much tougher for Astral to fit the role that Vatira did. Because what we just saw there with this goal, right? Admittedly, great goal, right? Astral reads it really well on low boost, does super well with this amount of boost. But he's going to find himself in these positions in the future where someone beats him to the ball, recovery speed's down, team gets counterattacked, team concedes, right? Whereas we've just watched since the last kickoff, there is every world Astral should have more boost right now than he does in this situation, right? So that's the biggest difference for me, is that Moist is a very aggressive team that likes to continually attack, continually put pressure on, do things like pre-jumps and intercepts that catch people off guard, knowing that their recovery speed and boost efficiency is going to allow them to keep going. Ryze and Joyo, both amazingly efficient with their boost. We saw that earlier on in this game. Even though it was a nervy start, one thing that both Joyo and Ryze did well was they managed their boost well. Vatira also was an amazing manager of boost, and so now Astral needs to fit that. Okay, let's have a little look at this next game. Oh, again. Ryze just lacking a bit of confidence here, right? Just hit the ball. I think we just need to see Ryze just hit the ball a bit more. Joyo manages to pull that save off. But then, again, right, Joyo's having to do quite a lot of these, like, recovery situations. And they end up using up a lot more boost than you want to use. And so then he's out the play for a bit longer. Right, you see right here, right? If we just go back to this moment right now, look at the boost above me for the team of Moist, right? They're all around 50 to 60, right? Which is a good amount of boost. It's a solid amount of boost. A few pads, you back up to close to 100, you got a good amount of boost, right? KC are all on 100, but, you know, we've got 100 now. And then we'll see this outplay attempt from Astral and Joyo. They're now out of boost, right? So now, Ryze is the only one with boost. Gets the 100 there. Astral's making a challenge with 0 boost. Easily taken out the play. Joyo out of 0 boost again. You know, like they are such a mechanical team, but aerially mechanical, right? I say that, Ryze is quite grounded, but for Astral and Joyo in particular, they're very aerially mechanical. So without boost, they take away their biggest asset, which is their ability to use mechanics in the air. Like right now, I have every expectation Astral's going to do something on the ball here. Right? Takes a player out of the game, looks to recover. They're about to concede. Why is Ryze still in front of the ball? Right? That's what I want to know at this stage. What's Ryze been up to? So you see this, right? Obviously they're 20 seconds left. They're trying to score a goal, right? Astral, 100 boost on the wall. Excellent news for the team, right? 100 boost on the wall, almost guaranteed to take a player out of the game, maybe more. Joyo, following up with 100 boost. Great. Could probably react really fast to Astral's touch here. But no, as he's moving forward, he sees Ryze in front of him. So where Joyo would have been excited to move up here and support Astral and maybe try and read this and create a goal, he's now the third, right? No longer able to do what he wanted to do, so it's now risky to go for it. Where Ryze, if Ryze had gone back here, picked up some boost, could you know, play a bit more defensive. So yeah, that's because you see Joyo hesitates because he's third, rather than confidently just reading that as soon as it hits the ceiling, you know. So yeah, like they don't seem to quite know how to play off of each other. Yeah, I mean, KC are countering this very well, to be fair to them. Like, you just got to respect KC for the way they're playing. They're playing aggressive. They're playing fast. They're boost starving a lot. They're challenging well and, like, disrupting a lot. Hello. Jeez. It's a garbage time goal, but, you know, it's still a nice goal. You see what I mean, though, right? Put these boys in space and with 100 boost, do some damage. So yeah, that's my main observation right now. Sure, it'll just take some time to get used to playing with Astral. Potentially that's what it is. Potentially. Like we saw the structural issues earlier on, covering similar areas. I think the main thing for me, there is a simple fix to all of this. And that is boost management. And I don't know how simple that will be in the grand scheme of things, but they just need to be able to, like, look at this. Is that 100 boost worth of play right there? I'm not sure it is, you know? Well, I say 100, 88's worth. And then what happens? Again, Joyo wants to go for this ball here, but can't because Rise should have gone for it because of where Rise was. Boom. Chill. Chill. You don't need to go to this next ball because they're going to go for it anyway. It's just about chilling after you lose control a bit more. Yeah. You can see it. You can see it. I see a kickoff goal in a bit. That's going to be fun to watch. There we go. That's some nice stuff from Joyo. Not so nice stuff from Joyo. It got them possession back, to be fair, though. Look, Astral with 100 boosts. Look, this is what we're talking about. The bump attempt was interesting. But you see what I mean, right? This is the situation they need to create for themselves more. Joyo's 50-50 into second 50-50 led to this, right? So let's look back. Astral off the ball gets boost. Actually, if we look back even further, Joyo's touch here. Astral gets an attempt, chooses not to go, rotates out, gets 100 boost. Joyo's 50-50, Astral gets an attempt, right? This is the kind of formula they're going to need to get the best out of Astral. But again, Astral drains his boost because he plays on the side of, I'm going to try and make a big outplay. So that's the main way to facilitate Astral. God, another kickoff goal. Hey, Prime, welcome, Raiders. Welcome from Prime stream. Hope you had a good stream. You just playing some ranked? If so, I hope your games went well. I hope you had fun. Do you stream in French or English? I assume French. Je m'appelle Gregan, un RLCS Analyst. Oh, I don't like this commit. Okay. Is that... It's Exotic this time on the 50-50, right? Astral booms up to Joyo, makes sense. Joyo misses, unfortunate. Right there, they're just committing to stuff that they just shouldn't commit on, right? Rise, 50-50, just shouldn't have gone. And they're just punishing them. Look, so easy to punish because they're just going for stuff that they're never going to get. Like, Joyo misses, Rise gets 50-50, Astral gets beaten, right? Like, this is the main issue with Moist, is they don't have control. They're just going at times, and that's not quite right. This is what Vatira added. He was very grounded and understood where and when he needed to go. And by grounded, I mean in his decision making. Like, he would jump late, know when to go, when not to go. Astral right there just shouldn't be going as third. And you can see even Joyo's rotation is a long rotation. So Joyo's made this misplay. Rise is gone. Joyo's going for the long rotation. Like, he's so used to having someone like Vatira take up loads of time. But then that time is gone instantly, right? And Itachi, like, look how simple he made that look. It's like, and I'll beat you, and Exotic will beat you, and Vatira will score. It's very in control. So yeah, we've watched enough of Moist's point of view. Let's have a little look at KC and what they're doing well. I think it's pretty clear for you guys to see the main concerns for Moist. It's mostly around their structure, mostly around the way they position around each other, and being a little bit too aggressive, overusing boost, and not quite having a sustainable decision-making process. Where Vatira before was able to sort of change the rhythm of that decision-making process, of like slow it down at the right times, take up more time on the ball, be more boost efficient with his decision-making. Where Astral's not very boost efficient, and Joyo and Rise right now are unsure as to when they can and can't go, so they're not quite confident in their decisions to go. And also, to be fair to KC, they're putting a lot of pressure on Moist, which is meaning that they're uncomfortable in the speed of play, but then they're not able to maintain their boost efficiency with this speed of play, right? Like, we watched the point of view of Vatira. Let's just watch point of view of Vatira. Let's watch in the next section, right? Look how calm this game looks from Vatira's point of view. Look how calm this Rocket League game is. You know, that could have been a goal if he banged it a bit harder, but, like, still. Look at... This is what I mean about the boost efficiency, you see? You see how different the boost looks from Vatira's point of view versus Astral? Even there, just subtly picking up pads. Just look at the recovery speed, like, because everything's so much more in control. Isn't it crazy, though, when you look at this, to realise that Vatira had the highest average boost speed, the highest average speed of any of the players in the lobby? Isn't it crazy when you watch his point of view? It doesn't look faster, does it? Why do you guys think Vatira has a higher average speed but looks slower? Other than maybe camera settings. Recovery. Exactly. So the fastest point on the pitch is when you're recovering, right? So if you go all in... Right, let's just watch... I don't know, Astral, right? We're going to watch Astral here, right? See how much it's slowed down? So he didn't get that 100. Okay, now he's got the 100. We're fine. But it's like these moments here are the moments where you lose the speed, is when you're static or when you get a slow recovery or when you get bumped. Whereas Vatira is always moving. And then when he recovers, like now, he recovers whilst moving fast, right? I mean, it's a bad decision by him. I won't lie to you guys. But like, when he's off the ball, like right here, he's moving fast but without using boost, right? So it's that time off the ball but Vatira is moving fast, and when he's on the ball he's controlled. That was a poor decision, but like, let's look here. Look how much boost he's always got. Little boost star from him there. You see this? You see it? See the post-touch recovery speed? So that's the bit where he's moving fast. And the thing is, that's the bit where you can move fast because you don't have a huge amount of options. You literally have to just get back as soon as possible. So Vatira's using his speed in the right places, whereas the Moist guys seem a little bit panicked, which is where they're moving faster than they can make a decision. Like you can see here, prime example, right? Panicked, panic rushed, and it uses all 100 boosts. So they're panicking. I know at this time they're panicking because they need to score a goal to be in the series and everything. But you do see them panic way more when they're going for the ball. So yeah, that's the main thing I've noticed between the two teams here is KC look faster when you're on the side of Moist. When you go in KC's point of view, they look so in control. Can we look at Itachi's point of view? I think I've watched all the games. Let's watch him. I know they lost this game, but we will just watch a bit of Itachi. But they'll look really in control. Exotic was so good as well. Like I barely scratched the surface on Exotic, right? So this was a bit unfortunate in the way it panned out, right? Exotic touches up. They're just low on boost. Vatira's dodged there, put him in a rough position. Yeah, they're just low on boost post kickoff here, I think. So watch Tachi's point of view. Oh, that is super unlucky. Wait, how's that happened? He just loses Supersonic before he bumps. See there? Loses Supersonic. Yeah, because he's turning, right? Good idea. You see Itachi's just trying to disrupt, right? Like Itachi's lurking around the midfield. Just looking to get disruption. Get those 50-50s. Get those bumps, etc. Oh! It's the miss! It's the famous miss. I forgot about this. Who remembers this miss? Literally the only place on the pitch where they couldn't score from. Yeah, when we watch Itachi's point of view, what you'll see is he's just there to intercept, disrupt, take the ball off of teams. That's a nice touch from Joyo. Exotic's getting bumped. I think because of that, Vatira's in a weird position here. Yeah. Vatira didn't expect you'd need to cover that because, you know, Exotic's in goal. So we went for the bump on Astral and then got thrown off by it. So that's a good bump from Joyo. Nice idea from Rise. Almost getting the solo play. And then Astral. If Astral gets bumped there, it gets broken down. If Exotic doesn't get bumped there, they're fine. Itachi forced them high. Vatira almost read it. You know, like, that was just a good play by Moist and not quite reacting well by KC there. Yeah, you guys get the gist of Itachi's role. I know they lose this game, so you're not necessarily seeing it turn into goals. But it's very much like, I'm going to go for the ball, 50-50 it, bump them, take them off the ball. And if I don't need to, I'm just going to leave it. You know, like right there, that's like Itachi's done his job there, right? Itachi's job here, get the ball off Rise. How's he going to get it off of Rise? Oh, don't need to worry about it. Done it, you know? Then go over here. Vatira's there. Itachi takes control of the ball. If they hit it, he just lets it go. Like, if they hit it back to a teammate, they hit it back to a teammate, right? This is beautiful neutral gameplay from Itachi. Good save. Who was that? I think that was... See here, just trying to get some 50-50s. Take players out of the game. Very neutral game focused. Look at his boost management as well, picking up pads. Lovely stuff. Misreads that, but quickly recovers, gets the bump. Yeah, you guys getting the gist of Itachi's role? Yeah, Exotic is playing what we described about Astral, about being the player in space with 100 boost that you want. That's Exotic, right? He is their star player in space. Give him some boost. Give him the ball in strong positions. He will turn it into a goal. That's his role, and he did that so well in this series. So that was Moist versus KCorp. What did you guys think of that as a whole? What did you think of Moist? What do you think of KCorp? What do you think of the two teams, how they're playing? I'm interested to see how Moist adapt with time, whether they can learn from this. But I'm excited for KCorp though. They have a really nice play style.